So I'm going to be honest with you. I was really having a hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about this week with everything that's been going on in the news. But I thought about it, and today I realized that the NRA national conference was kicking off, and I was like, well, there's nothing that could be affecting our queer community at the NRA convention, could there? But I decided to check out some of their speeches, and well, here you go.
In the wake of tragic violence that struck here in the heartland in recent days, at a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee, and at a bank branch in Louisville, Kentucky. The Bible says that we mourn with those who mourn and grieve with those who grieve. And I know I speak with everyone here when I say that our hearts and our prayers are with all the families that suffered loss and injury in these unspeakable attacks. Ignoring the motivations of the trans activists who killed 3 children and 3 adults at that Christian school in Nashville, and ignoring the mental health challenges of the man who killed 5 people and injured 8 others in Louisville, President Biden and the Democrats have returned to the same tired arguments about gun control and gun confiscation.
Okay, first of all, Mike Pence, you need to step back. That person who did the shooting in Nashville, as horrific as it was, they were not a trans activist. But putting a trans activist label on them, it puts a target on the entire trans community. And that is truly, truly dangerous, because the only person that was responsible for that shooting was the person who was carrying an assault rifle. And it doesn't matter if they were trans, if they were cis, if they were straight, or if they were queer. They committed murder with an assault rifle, and that's the danger. But Pence alone wasn't the only one to comment on it. I mean, he was followed up by this guy.
They want to demonize patriots and persecute Christians while pushing the transgender cult on your children. Children turn 25 and they say, "Who did this to me? Who did this to me? How did you let this happen?"
Once again, that is another lie from the former guy. Just as dangerous as what Pence said, labeling the shooter as a trans activist, what Donnie there is saying is that this person was unstable because they were forced to transition. And once again, that's not true. We don't know what the shooter's story was. We don't have any clear facts on that. So to say that this person became unstable because they were forced into transition, which is something that has never happened. That does not happen. People are not forced into transition. So while what Pence said was dangerous, what Donald said was stupid. And I want to be clear. I don't think a trans person should own an assault rifle. But that being said, I don't think a queer person should have an assault rifle. I don't think women should have assault rifles. And I most certainly don't think that cis, straight, white, male Christians should have assault rifles. Because you know what? The majority of the shootings that have been done with those kinds of weapons are done by white men. Straight, white men. So why do they have the guns? And, just to look back at like the target that's already been placed on our community, the Pulse nightclub shooting. There were 49 people were killed that night. 53 were injured in Orlando, Florida. The Club Q shooting in Colorado. There were 5 people killed and 25 injured. Both of those incidents were targeted at our queer community, and that is the definition of terrorism. The Orlando shooting took place the night before Los Angeles Pride. Every year we have a party at our house, a brunch, to celebrate Pride. We go out and watch the parade, and all anyone could talk about the next day was what had happened in Orlando. So that is the definition of terrorism. It struck fear into our hearts. The shooting at Club Q, that was done the night before a drag brunch to support the trans community. So again, they knew what they were doing. That is terrorism that's being carried out with assault rifles. And let's be clear, assault rifles are weapons of war. They're designed for one thing and one thing only. It is not hunting. It is not to protect your house. They are designed to kill as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. And what Trump and Pence are doing with these claims that they're putting out there, they're putting targets on our trans community, our queer community in general, is what they are targeting. And the thing is, there are trans people all over the world. We don't see these kinds of shootings happening in other countries. Do you know why? because they do not allow them to have assault rifles. That it's a very, very simple solution. Get rid of assault rifles. And maybe our community might feel a little bit safer because it seems like we're being targeted right now. And the NRA, they can put up all these people with these hateful speeches, but don't put a target on our community because we're not the ones that need to be targeted. The people who need to be targeted are the people who own assault rifles, who are coming out and hunting other people.